Geno Smith, 3 years, 105 million.
Congrats, Geno. I feel like that's well deserved for Geno Smith. And I feel like, you know what, this makes sense. I know some people were like, should the Seahawks draft a quarterback? And I was like, no, I feel like you should keep with Geno Smith because it's kind of the identity of the team, which is Pete Carroll's trying to find a new way to inspire a Super Bowl team. So he's like, we had Russell Wilson come up to the front office and he was just like, I want both of you guys to get fired and I want you to kick them out the door because you're holding me back from a chance to win the Super Bowl. And I feel like Pete Carroll's like, no, we're not going to do that. We're actually going to trade you because we don't think you're that valuable anymore and we're not going to pay you. And you don't get what you want. We're not firing the GM and Pete Carroll. And Pete Carroll's like, all right, let me ride it with Geno Smith, someone who's bounced around the league, kicked around, beaten down morally. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to keep my head up, and being a backup quarterback in the NFL is still better than anything I could be doing out. And like, I respect that. And he took a positive point of view. And I talked about John Morant, like manifesting the right energy and staying positive about yourself. Well, a perfect example of that is Geno Smith. And he just kept working, kept getting better every day. And then when he got his chance to shine, he was a top 10 quarterback in the league last year. And I feel like a lot of people would agree with that. And then he had them in it versus San Francisco in the first half last year. So Pete Carroll trying to create a new identity for the Seattle Seahawks. You have to ride it out with Geno Smith because he's like, hey, I was doubted with Russell Wilson. People said I was the problem when Russell Wilson held the ball too long and was trying to make too much happen and be the star of the show. So I'm going to take Geno Smith, resurrect his career, retool this team around him, get him on a discount and front load that contract. Let's roll it back in a very weak NFC next year where the Lions have a good shot to win the Super Bowl. Cowboys are in turmoil. San Francisco, I mean, another year, Pete Carroll versus Kyle Shanahan, and feel like Pete Carroll's been able to beat him before. So it's like you get a really nice defense on that team, like the Legion of Boom, and another good draft. You're in business, baby. And then Geno Smith fits everything that team is about. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the Seahawks moving forward, if they're looking at the next 3-4 years, if they want to draft a quarterback this year, they can. I don't know if they necessarily have to. They can draft. They have them for 3 years, but 52 million are going to come right this year.
Right.
So a majority of that contract will be paid out this year, at least half. So if they want to draft a quarterback, they can. I think they have the 5th overall pick, I believe.
Yeah.
And so if they want to go, I don't think they're going to go quarterback in the first round. I think they'll most likely go for somebody in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round.
Defensive freak in the first round.
There's a lot of great defensive players in the first round. I think they'll go defense. And then if they want to draft a quarterback next year, they have that power as well because Geno's going to be there for 3 years. He can sit. Geno knows he's 32 already. So he already has the age. So he knows that he's not going to be around forever. He's taken that opportunity. I'm glad that he got his money. I'm glad that he still has that team. And he's also, I think he knows that the Seahawks will eventually draft his replacement. And I think he'll be a much greater mentor as far as, hey, make sure you have this talent. Make sure you nurture it while you can. He was a 2nd round pick. He has that perspective. He fell in the draft. He's got a lot of chips on his shoulders.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a great mentor for whoever they draft.
Yeah, and he's very mature. Like, I feel like his outlook on his NFL career, not a lot of people can handle that. And I don't feel like a lot of people are mentally strong enough to be able to be embarrassed the way he was in New York. And then it takes a lot of courage to put yourself back out there to scrutiny when everyone's just waiting for you to fuck up. Everyone's just waiting for you to turn back into your old self. It's like, it takes a lot of courage to do that. And it's like, you always have that voice in the back of their head, like where it could be that. But I feel like it just speaks volumes to Geno Smith's character that he was able to stick through it and bounce back the way he did with Seattle. And I feel like that's something that an NFL honest is going to respect. And that's something that screams franchise quarterback. So I feel like Geno Smith is the perfect fit for Seattle. And I love the contract overall.